next speaker is Dr. Solmaz Abooali, a world champion and 14-time U.S. national in traditional karate, a conflict resolution scholar, published author, and lecturer. We're so honored to have you here with us today.
Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Solmaz Abooali. I'm a 14-time U.S. national champion and world champion in traditional karate, as well as a professor, author, and human rights activist. Today, I'd like to take a moment to recognize the fragile situation in Iran and send a message directly to the women and young girls in the country. For years now, the regime has been hanging on its last leg of survival. People from various sectors of society have been taking to the streets, fed up with an inept and inhumane system and its enforcers. With COVID cases running rampant in the country, the regime's characteristics have become even more evident, particularly as it relates to Iranian females. There is no need for me to spell out the oppressive conditions under which women and young girls in Iran are living. Better than me, these females understand the poverty of thought that is pushing against their life, one in which women are treated as a second-class citizen with little to no access to education, healthcare, technology, justice, and basic human rights such as freedom of speech and expression. There is also no need for me to spell out the root cause of drastic actions taken by young women such as Sahar Khodayari, also known as Blue Girl. Sport, something so basic, is used as a tool to harass women. It's no wonder that women's sports teams in Iran receive no government support, no sponsors, and have to deal with bans on media coverage of their tournaments. So not only are they not allowed to watch sport games, their own participation in sports is banned from the public's view. In other areas of society, female nurses and teachers operate within a system which pays below the poverty line, if or when they actually do get paid. In prisons, women and girls, young girls, particularly those accused of having different political views than the regime's, are faced with shortage of water and detergents and disinfectants, shortage of PPEs like masks and gloves, lack of space for quarantine, lack of ventilation, and inadequate medical care, which have all expedited the spread of COVID. And yet, despite these pressures and injustices in every stratum of society, women have been leading ongoing protests against the crimes and violations of a regime rooted in the belief that to be a woman is a sin. The fact that women continue to be the force of change despite the dangers of harassment, imprisonment, and death tells me that they've chosen to fight back instead of staying silent. And they're right. Silence is not an option because it won't change the status quo. Iranian women have a history of fighting back against systemic violence. Mrs. Mariam Rajavi is one of these leading and progressive figures who has not only defied all the odds and broken glass ceilings, but has inspired an attitude and spirit of fighting for freedom, democracy, human rights, for a society where women are treated equally in economy, have equal participation in political leadership, have choice in how to dress, how to live, and how to be. I'm confident that this kind of a free Iran is the next chapter. To the young women and young girls inside Iran who risk their lives every day, keep fighting and keep believing, because you, more than anyone else, have the power to overthrow a regime that does not and never did belong anywhere on this planet. Keep your voice and spirit above the injustices, and know that we commit to supporting you and spreading your messages and stories worldwide so everyone knows the resilience and power of an Iranian woman. I pray for your safety and success and the opportunity to meet you in a free Iran. In the same token, I encourage members of the House and Senate, most especially female representatives and policymakers, to join hands with the Iranian women who are choosing action over silence. By working jointly, we send a clear signal that atrocities against women in Iran, and by extension, women worldwide, must stop. More importantly, our voice will hold accountable and make an example out of the Iranian government for its fundamentalist treatment of women. It will take active teamwork across geographical and cultural divides to create an equitable world for women everywhere. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, Solmaz. Everything you said resonated so much, and you're right. The regime of Iran doesn't belong anywhere, especially in Iran.